Yep, I'm talking to you. You're getting hungry. Very hungry. Your mouth is watering. You have a craving. A craving for Doritos. A craving for crunchy tacos. Well, have I got the treat for you. It's that time again. It's grill time, baby. Come on in tomorrow only to get your charcoal for 50% off. Choose your favorite smoker. That's 20% off. 3453 North Kimball in Chicago, Illinois. Remember, this sale is for one day only. Now that's how you save big money. It's selling out fast and secure. Your tickets now. The first annual 1043 2018 Hip Hop Fallback Jam Session. It's something you don't want to miss. Hey, it's Danaya, Azure, and you are now tuned in to No Filter Radio with your host, Dope as Music.
So we're working on that.
Television.
Sissy. Okay. I think it's so special having my big sister do my makeup. I love when my sissy Erica helps me kind of play, I say dress up. It just makes me feel like, my big sister making me look fly, as she would say. I like it. Smoky sexy.
Social media. Video shoots. Photo shoots. Live stream.
Like 2 weeks ago, and most of you know I'm a casting associate, so I cast background and extras and whatever for 4-star casting.
Movies.
Dwayne, can I see you in my office?
Yeah. Can I use the bathroom first?
Well, make it fast.
YouTube videos.
Sweet love, hear me calling out your name. I feel no shame in love. Don't you ever
Or commercials. Danaya Designs for You will get you right. Grab that S4S jewelry. Just go to bit.ly/DD4U jewelry.
Located at 4655 South King Drive. Approved by Papas Everywhere.
Grand rising, everyone. Hello. So, we have an election on Tuesday, so I decided to go ahead and let you guys hear this conversation that we had in Nexxlegacy regarding racism in America. So, yeah, here we go.
Trying to figure out a way over the last, 10 days now to not just do this show, but to try to eliminate, I think we live in a world now where I feel like we can't help but just be emotional about what's going on in the world today. I am Brandon. This is Nexxlegacy Radio. Thank you for tuning in live, and thank you for tuning in if you'll be listening in later on the podcast throughout Apple iTunes, Chromecast, etc. So thank you all for tuning in and listening. And basically, this show is going to be spearheaded by a lot of opinions from others, not just myself, and just basically what we're seeing out here in this world today. So forgive us in advance if we are feeling a certain way, because I feel like it doesn't matter what race, shade you are. We feel like we need to address some things, and we will do it tonight. So log in, tune in, and let's get it to the point where we can be able to talk about this and we can be able to discuss it. Like I said, I'm going over and talking about so many different things, so I want from obvious police brutality to losing lives amongst black folks. And like I said, 10 days ago, we got hit with a situation where
how are you?
police killed an unarmed black man. And as I read these names off, I know there's plenty more.
I haven't heard this in a minute. Actually, I haven't heard it since we broadcasted it, so this should be interesting.
Feel free to experience. Feel free to voice your opinions on said thing. So, Rodney King, Los Angeles, 1991. Malice Green, Detroit, 1992. Abner Louima, New York City, 1997. Amadou Diallo, New York City, 1999. Sean Bell, New York City, 2006. Oscar Grant, Oakland, 2009. Trayvon Martin, Stanford, Florida, 2012. Eric Garner, New York City, 2014. Michael Brown, Ferguson, Missouri, 2014. Tamir Rice, Cleveland, Ohio, 2014. Laquan McDonald, Chicago, 2014. Walter Scott, North Charleston, South Carolina, 2015. Freddie Gray, Baltimore, 2015. Philando Castile, Falcon Heights, Minnesota, 2016. Antoine Rose Jr., Pittsburgh, 2018. Ahmaud Arbery, Glenn County, Georgia, 2020. Breonna Taylor, Louisville, Kentucky, 2020. George Floyd, Minneapolis, 2020. The most publicized of a lot of these, but also it is shining a huge light on the situation at hand. And as I take this moment to talk about him, I want to have at least a moment of silence with his death and every other person that has passed, who has died, who's been murdered by not just police, but other people of a different race. So I'm going to have a moment of silence. But also what I'm going to do is, and people have a right to be able to voice their opinions, and that's why we're going to take calls. And also we're going to have our cast of characters and our group of people here to talk about this. So please call in 845-277-9369. But also, I'm going to play this. And like I said, I want everybody to really understand where I'm coming from when I play this. And if you see the video, you're going to understand what I'm saying. And people that's on my Instagram, you can follow me at I'm Charles Madison, or you can actually see it on Nexxlegacy on the Twitter also. But 4 minutes, I want everybody to listen and pay attention, and I will take your calls, and I will take your opinions as well. The man ain't moved yet, bro. The man ain't moved yet, bro. Bro, you're a bum, bro. You're a bum, bro. You're definitely a bum, bro. Bro, he has not moved not one time, bro. But yeah, bro, go back in the store, bro. You don't understand. No. Okay, that's cool. Go back in the store, bro. Go back in the store, bro. He's not fucking moving. I see that, bro. I'm trying to help y'all out, bro. You don't need to help me out, bro. I know your parents. I know everybody that runs the store. You don't need to help me the fuck out, bro. He's not fucking moving right now, bro. I just saw that, man. Bro, he was just moving when I walked up here. Yeah, I know. They did that. You just got out. You just got back out here. I've been watching the whole time. You just got back out here, bro. Bro, he doesn't have a bro. He's not fucking moving. No, they wasn't kill him, bro. What is you 1087, bro? You're a bum, bro. 987, bro. You're a bum. First thing you want to grab is your mate because you're scared, bro. You're the fucking minority. You're fucking like, bro, 3 minutes, bro. He's not fucking moving. You're a bitch, bro. How you gonna let him keep that like that? You gonna let him put that man in front of you, bro? Huh? Like what? Bro, he's not even fucking moving right now, bro. He's not even fucking mouth. Bro, what is gonna do this, bro? You're not gonna help us, bro. Right. Like they don't care. 97 years old, bro. They don't care, bro. You gonna just sit there with your knee on his neck, bro? You a real man for that, bro. He ain't All right, I'm gonna stop it there. Every time that I either see video or hear what I witnessed, I still can't believe it, but also I still can believe it because if you're a minority and basically if you're not white, you have suffered from this. I'm sure a lot of us, black men and women, minority men and women, have suffered from some kind of this, and I have a ton of stories, and I feel like I shouldn't even tell my stories because I live to tell about it. And there's so many people out there that have lost their lives because of some of the stuff that either we're witnessing because of the cameras, that they can't tell their story. They can't live to tell about it. So I feel ashamed for even saying that I went through something when there's so many people that lost their lives.
Hi, BT Business Monday Talk. How are you?
On so many levels, because here we are trying to figure it out, and we still can't figure it out because there's so many different things that's going on. If it's Donald Trump, the supposed dictator, president of the United States, or if it's Drew Brees, the New Orleans Saints quarterback, or if it's a lot of the commenters and people on Instagram and Twitter who is degrading these particular situations by their comments because they don't understand what Black Lives Matter means. I still don't feel like we will ever denounce or get rid of racism in our society, because for every police officer that has killed, there is the non-police officers that may be the president, or that may be the mailman, or that may be the construction worker, or that may be the grocery store clerk that is. Because they have.
If you haven't already done so, please thumbs up this video. If you have not already done so, please thumbs up this video. You can do so whether you are in the broadcast or on the replay. You can do so whether you are currently in the comment section or if you're in the bushes.
And I hate saying that. I would love to hold hands and sing "We Shall Overcome," but we're not. But what I feel like we need to do is we need to address this matter. We need to apply pressure. We need to make legislative changes. And we need to make sure that we find ways to minimize this. Will this ever happen again? Absolutely. This will not change. There's going to be a cop, and there's still shit going on, and there's still stuff that's going on in Vallejo.
There's a whole bunch of cussing going on. Just letting you know.
That we are still finding out, and there's a lot of
look at the topic shit
that people won't tell you.
That part I do remember. There's a whole bunch of cussing going on.
So I'm not overly optimistic at all with the way that the nation is, because I've made comments about certain things that I've seen. In the Ahmaud Arbery case, I basically voiced my opinion as far as what you see. Those two men lynched that man, and I made that comment. And I had so many people on my Instagram saying that you're a nigger lover, that you're taking it out of context, that he did something he wasn't supposed to, and all this stuff. And we're getting this on social media. So we're getting it on social media, then it's magnified in a lot of people's homes. And they're just not saying it. There's so many silent racists out there in the United States world that we have only begun to scratch the surface on this. And our ancestors fought for this, not just our ancestors 400 years ago, not just
it's a black guy.
Our ancestors who were lynched, killed, just to be able to be free. We were suffering like that in the 60s as well.
That's
and we're
funny.
Suffering like that now. And we're suffering like that now for the simple fact that just because we have some jobs, we have some money, we have a little bit of
what is the premise of the topic? The fact that
we're still black.
We were having the conversation of everything that was going on.
And we're still
hold on, wait. Let me preface this real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Hold on.
I feel like when it's all said,
hello, hey, G-Spot, how are you? Okay, so somebody asked what the premise of the topic was. So no, the gentleman that's speaking is black, just like I am. It's very proper. So the thing about this whole situation is the reason we got in this topic was because this is right after the George Floyd killings, and it was also right after the riots. We'd actually been putting off the show because the riots occurred and they were really, really heavy in Oakland. So he's in California. They were really heavy out there. So he wanted to make sure that we had that we could be able to focus on doing the show. So by the time I got to this, we had already had a conversation, tried to figure out, the best way to approach it. Knew it was going to be some backlash or whatever. And this is like one of our first shows back, as a matter of fact, because we hadn't done shows in a while. So, I figured because we got an election coming up, just revisit this conversation. So that's it. But no, it's not a white guy. It's a black guy. It's very proper, like I am.
We can be able to better ourselves, our culture, so we could find ways to not eliminate and abolish it, because there's still going to be some people, and everybody knows what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, and how they were so jealous of Black people thriving, they went down and burned everything. Go do your history, because the white folks and the people that do not like the history of
G-Spot, great show last night, but also early this morning. I'm surprised you're up.
And we'll continue
amazing
to
show last night, though.
And I want to take some callers, and if anybody want to call in, you can do that. The number is 845-277-9369. If you want to say something, and if you're online right now, press 1. And I have a lot to say, and I've said my piece, and will continue to speak on a lot.
Like I said, I haven't heard the show since we taped it, so
the listeners know
it should be interesting, because I can't remember what I said. So
even if you don't agree with me, I want you to have a voice. I'm not one of those kind of dudes who will, you give me your opinion, and if I don't agree with you, I'm just going to cut you off until you have a nice day. If you don't think black is right for having Black Lives Matter, I want you to talk to me right now and tell me why you feel this way. I don't know what G-Spot is. Give you my opinion, but I'll let you have the floor. I'll let you say what you need to say. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and start with Danaya first up. Danaya,
yeah, it was worth it. It was good. No, it was really good. It was a good conversation. 9 to 12. I got you.
Just makes me think about family, and just makes me think about just
very true. The left does know that Black women vote more than men. That's very true.
And how so disconnected the world is. It's just an obvious and terrible.
Black lives will always matter. Even if you don't agree with the organization, the actual phrase is what's true.
Oh Jesus! This has been the most trying 10 days I've ever experienced. I think what's sadder than the fact that catching these people on camera, and there's still a question of whether they killed someone or not, is the first problem that we have. Because I'm like, but they're on camera. But
okay, now that's what it was. Okay, so I'm trying to remember, like, okay, yeah, April hit me up. That's what it was. April hit me up, like, right, when April hit me up, that's when I think your show was already off. Gotcha. Okay. I got you. Thank you for coming through.
I think what's so crazy is people are like, well, why are they mad?
Because by the time I got the message, I came over and you were already done. That's what happened. Okay, cool.
So maybe because in the same week we had Karen call and lie on a black man because she didn't want to put a damn dog in a leash.
Right.
And it could have potentially been a situation.
The fact is okay if the organization has no fundamental sense for black men or family.
Black men here at this point. And then we found out about Breonna Taylor, and then we found out about Arbery. Like, all these things compiled. The drug court thing was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because it happened in a place where people wouldn't have expected it, in terms of like, so like I have friends that live in Minneapolis, and they were like, it's usually really quiet here. Like, it's usually really.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, most definitely. We can definitely set something up. So we'll figure it out. Just you can hit me up.
That's not what we do.
You can just. It's probably the best way to do it is just inbox me on Instagram. It's the same name on here, and the link is below in the description.
The protests are gonna happen anyways. The fact that we had people that are never coming in from other states. That's totally different process.
Unfortunately, the concept is often missed. It's just because something cool to say.
Ooh, child. I was going to say that's the issue that we're going to talk about also as we kind of digest all this, because I feel like, a lot of people's position is, well, they're just starting this just so they can go and
it's crazy. Very true. It became a fun hashtag as opposed to actually using.
Let me make this clear, and then I can continue on. I say this that people.
Let me pause this real quick.
Definitely, there is a white supremacist.
So the problem is that Black Lives Matter became this fun hashtag, as opposed to actually, and opposed to it actually being, I don't know, real. Like, it's hard to say. So when it comes to Black Lives Matter, the issue is the fact that we don't act that way. We don't. Let's be very clear. We don't. You fight against one another, and we're not even getting into the white supremacy and how that situation plays into the politics of everything. When you think about school to prison pipeline, which is the worst situation ever. I've seen that in action. I've seen kids be judged at 6 years old because the teacher didn't like that they were too energetic, or usually because the black child didn't like because the black child was too energetic and the white teacher couldn't handle it. Hold on, wait. Oh! I live in Richmond, in the tourist city of Antifa, a cowboy plastered all over. Are you kidding me? Yep, and they won't made it, and they won't, but made it to believe it with Black Lives Matter. Exactly, that's the thing. Yep, So when it came to the riots, a lot of people don't realize is that I was definitely profiling. Well, the thing when it comes to stuff like that is that the misconception is that it's just the Black Lives Matter team doing XYZ. No, but if you look at a lot of those riots, especially like the one in Atlanta, those were white kids, G. What? Oh, cops. D-Spot, do you have 2 seconds to come up and talk about that real quick? Are you kidding me? Cops? Oh, all cops are bastards. Oh, Jesus. Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's insane. What the fuck? Wow, I've never even heard of that before. Lord, that's a mess. That's an absolute mess. Ooh, child. I've never even heard of that one. Never heard of that mess.
Organizations who will
Hold on.
Fire to add more gasoline to an inferno.
Okay.
That is fact. That's been proven fact. And there's a lot of people that will come from different cities or states that will come to that city or state to be able to cause chaos and to leave when they feel like they're done. People are doing that. Now, saying that, I'm saying this too. There's a lot of people who's out there that
you can come up and have a conversation. I'm down with that for sure.
There's a lot of white people. Yeah. There's a lot of different people of different races that will. Because I've seen black people run in stores, take stuff out, and then leave and get in their cars and drive off. Is that wrong? Absolutely. But let me just make this clear. Everybody does that. So I'm not saying that black people are perfect, because we're not. I'm not saying white people are perfect, because they're not. Different.
How are you?
Wrong is wrong, no matter how you lace it down. But I'm saying when it comes to Black Lives Matter and the fact that we have been suffering for so long.
If you haven't already done so, please some of this video. If you've not already done so, please some of this video.
You will not look at certain things that will, haunt you when it comes to, equal, our civil rights being violated. People lynching, things like that, or whatever. I mean, this is live in 2020, and when you go back and you look at it, and I'm gonna. The visuals or the vocals we can be able to hear clear as day. But I'm going to listen. I'm going to let you guys listen to something that somebody gave me, and this was something in the 60s.
That's crazy.
It's horrible to hear, but we need to pay attention to this because there's a lot of stuff that I feel like we need to.
All right, hold on. I'm going to do one right now. Grand Rising, how are you?
Grand Rising. Good morning, Danaya. How are you, sweetie?
I'm good. Just saw the pictures you sent me. So what in the world? I've never even heard of ACOP. What the fuck?
So you can share those pictures. Those are some personal pictures. Me and the viewers of you went out when the riots first happened with George Floyd, because I'm here in Richmond. So we went out firsthand and we took pictures because the graffiti intrigued me. It's like art, literally. I have so many pictures of how they spray painted the monuments, the buildings and stuff, but it was for a bigger purpose. So I understood that. Now, I thank you for what you're doing. I'm at work, so I kind of, I'm sneaking in and watching for a few hours, but I'm enjoying the stream. The whole Black Lives Matter, I love it. I love the concept, but it's so what's the commercial now? You know what I'm saying? It's something
exactly. That's the problem.
It's commercial. I live in an area with predominantly white people, and you see all of these grand houses and this, that, and the third, and they got Black Lives Matter plastered up on the door, just out of the protection of don't bash my house, because you know what I'm saying, we support black people. Even the white businesses were doing that. Now,
right, I remember.
I was out there. I did live streams and everything when the protests were going on the first few days. It was the scariest moment of my life. It felt like some LA type something. But
exactly.
Within that same moment, though, you would see, you know what I'm saying, there were African Americans, there were people of all colors there. But the ones who were doing the most looting and the most damaging and spray painting the Black Lives Matter weren't the black people.
Not us.
We didn't come there with that. We came there with our cigarettes, blunts, and drinks, you know what I'm saying? And we were marching and walking and talking junk and on live for the most part. You could see these kids with backpacks with spray paint, and like, it wasn't us. Now, the ACAB, I had to do some research because as I was taking those pictures, I don't know if you see the one with me. You see it in the background.
Yeah, I'm about to drop them.
And I'm like, where, what does this mean? So I had to do some research, and it means, and this is not my opinion, all cops are bastards. It has something to do with the Antifa. I don't get much into it myself because I know it's a whole lot behind it, but it has something to do with that whole Antifa gang, which is the group of individuals who want to make it look like Black Lives Matter is terrorizing the streets. And the whole all cops are bastards. That's just not something that, our people, that's not something that my dad's a cop, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? That don't change the fact. So that's not my personal opinion, but that is what's plastered whenever you'll see ACAB. You may not have noticed it before.
Wow.
I see it often in places and pictures now after I took a look into it. It's more to it, and I'm sure somebody else could probably give you a deeper backstory of it, but that was just what I witnessed and the little bit of research that I was able to do during that time. You know what I'm saying?
That's craziness. Let me show you guys what we're talking about. I'm sure the chat's like, what is going on right now? So this is one of the shots.
Yeah, that was me on the that's the Roosevelt. I can't remember which monument that was because we got a lot of them out here, but That's the statue with the he on the horse. I think it is like a I don't know, I can't remember, but it's downtown Richmond on Monument Avenue. And the next picture, like this one just shows graffiti in a hole, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I thought this picture was powerful. I love it. Like
That's very powerful.
if I could
That's
take
such
that
a
and put
powerful.
that on my wall in my bedroom, I really would. But
That is
like on the other
beautiful.
ones, they got F12, which we already know what that means, and then they
Right.
pressed it like stop killing us,
Yeah.
F12, and then the ACAB is in the same, so they
Yep.
put it all together.
That is craziness. You
Yeah,
know
so
what's so crazy about that whole situation and so frustrating is that people didn't realize like how bad it was. Like I mean, like I knew beforehand, but like I wasn't there. I had friends in Minneapolis. I was scared to death for them because of the stories that I was hearing. So I was trying to check in with them all the time. It's insane.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people on here who could go deeper into detail, or and maybe some things that I may have displayed incorrectly. I'm not educated on it. I've been trying to educate myself. I employ anyone to educate themselves. Do your own research. Go research what
Right.
Antifa is. Go research the ACAB. And I don't think the roots can trace back to Black Lives Matter or Black supporters
You
for the
do
most
not.
part. That's It's made to look like we are terrorizing, we're causing a problem, and we're like a hate or militia group. When all in reality, you'll see them. So yeah, that's me in the picture, y'all. That was me in those pictures. So, but yeah, and I gave her permission to post those. She cool. But I'm gonna jump back in the chat because I had took myself out of quality. I was like, look, I can't be giving these people quality assurance right now. I'm giving quality on this conversation. So I will be in the bushes listening. Continue to do your thing, sweetheart.
Awesome.
I love your show, your voice, your shine, and your spirit. So I'll talk to you, babe.
Thank you, sweetheart. Take care. We'll definitely gotta collab another day for sure.
Look at Adelina said, D, you and I have the same. Oh, I know that's right, baby. Yeah, I'm Nail Gang. Long Gal name. Gang.
Yes.
I'll talk to y'all.
All right, take care. Bye. Yes, this is just let me look at these comments real quick before I start it again. So she said she's watched. Alina said I'm watching the movie Antebellum. It made me cry. It's terrible. No wonder so many people of color hate white folks. I'm glad I'm not a part of that, being from a different country. But it's so heartbreaking. I know it is. It is very heartbreaking to see the way that we've been treated. But it's also heartbreaking to see the way we treat each other. The misconceptions about what we do and who we are, right? And a lot of times we actually we continue the stereotype. We continue to be the stereotype, and we prove people right with the way that we are with one another. So let's continue, shall we?
We get off our chest when it comes to this, but go ahead and continue, and then after that, I'll put Baby Girl on too.
Okay. I think what people are, and for everyone that thinks that it was the black folks that were doing the looting and the rioting, there are multiple, I do mean multiple videos that are showing police putting out bricks. There are multiple videos that are showing police busting out windows, starting fires on cars, on their own damn police cars. So don't like yes.
And this is what the media didn't show y'all. But I saw so many videos on TikTok. It was insane.
That was stupid.
I said 45 got mad at TikTok.
Make no mistakes. The cops were the ones that were starting everything.
Yep.
And
hold on, wait. Let me say something.
Right now.
I keep stopping this because it brings me back to other topics. So here's the thing: when it comes to riots, for the most part, baby, I saw it. There's no question. I saw that. I saw the bricks that were out there being set up by cops. I saw that. I saw the video of the cops setting up the bricks, or bricks being at random places on streets, right by the bus stop, all those kinds of things. I've seen multiple videos of us being set up. And if this live stream gets cut off, you all already know why. And I'm just letting y'all know. Because they don't let this kind of teaching. They don't let this kind of teaching at all, honey. So, but when it comes to riots, for the most part, police are the ones that initiate it. A peaceful protest will turn into a riot because the cops are the ones that initiate it. I've been to enough to know how peaceful protests go. Most people's peaceful protests are good until the cops get mad and lose their damn mind, and they start doing crap. Like they'll literally sit up there and they'll start pepper spraying somebody, or they'll sit up there and they just start talking mess, or they'll sit up there and they start blocking off exits and all that. I wish Madam was up because she could tell you what they did in Baltimore. She touched a little bit on it, but man, what they did in Baltimore was disgusting. The way they treated those kids, how they blocked those kids off so they couldn't even get home. Like, they stopped the buses. They were just insane. I watched that whole thing happen. I was like, wait, what do you mean y'all stop bus service? How are these kids gonna get back to the house? What are you talking about? You know, so like by the time it gets to mainstream media, it's flipped as if the people are the problem. Oh no, I've seen specifically where the cops are the issue. No questions asked. So it's a way they can use force. Ooh, baby, yes. It is a way that they can use forceful response, because when they make it seem as if the people who are the peaceful protesters are the issues, then hold on one second. BCM is back here. Give me 2 seconds. Hold on, let me put the banner up real quick. Man, it's crazy. Hold on 1 second. Grand Rising. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm doing all right. This is BMT.
Nice to meet you. Hold on, let me pick this banner down. I just wanted to make sure it was you. You know, because then he'd be cutting stuff around here, so you know.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Like I said, I've been doing this for years, so I can understand. And yeah, I think we were supposed to get up while.
Yep, April connecting with you. Absolutely. How are you? Pleasure to meet you.
All right. Well, I'm doing all right, and I'm definitely interested. I've already talked to my co-host and my team, so definitely we're definitely going to be. I think this is a whole nother sector of YouTube. Y'all are actually on a whole nother sector of YouTube, so I definitely think that we should start branching out.
I've been branching out, so yeah, it's really, so for me it's really tricky when it comes to YouTube, because what happened was I was just watching friends that I've known for years. You know, they had their channels, and I got to connect with some other people like China Fox and all that, and Angel and all of them. I was watching them, and then I found out about this sector, and I was like, "What in the world?" You know, but there are some amazing content creators that are in this sector, so I definitely branch out, no questions asked. So what sector are you in typically?
Well, pretty much. Let's see. Oh, I'm former Manosphere. I'm not sure if you ever heard of that. I worked along with Itmore. Now we're actually over there where I guess you can. It's pretty much Manosphere, B1s, where there's the O'Sheas, the Obsidians, the Angry Mans, the Nylas, the Tazes,
right.
the debates. Pretty much there's a whole slew of stuff. We formed the BBN Network Black Balance. That's I'm the founder of that.
Okay.
As well as I run 4 channels, 1 podcast radio, and hopefully if I get lucky by next year I should be 20K. I should be in like 20K.
That's amazing.
So but it's work, because it's work when you're trying to be balanced and you're trying to have that balance.
Yes.
And actually talk. So let's get it out there. I am a Black Republican as well as a conservative, okay. but I was a conservative before there was a Trump train, or if that makes any sense.
Gotcha.
So I don't want y'all to think, oh man, like it's one of those kids. No, I was doing this long before she showed up. We gotta watch them. Long before she came through, long before a lot of this stuff started going on. And I gotta admit that we have a lot of buffoonery we have a lot of buffoonery on both sides. And as far as it goes for the BLM, because I've actually went to a few of the chapters, um, a few of the chapter meetings, but I wanted to get to find out what was the mindset. The slogan has validity. You know, I'm saying that a black life does matter.
Absolutely.
So we're not going to contest or debate against that. However, the way they go about pushing for certain stuff or just pretty much their stance on certain things, that's where the inconsistency happens. Where as to the overall majority of blacks kind of don't like them because the representation is not properly given or used. So
Correct.
I get that's why I can agree, black lives do matter. Yes, I'm a black man, have a black family, have a black wife, you know, you are a black woman. So yes, as far as it goes for supporting the agenda, it does not support that of the black agenda. Does not. Because we haven't seen anything get passed or pushed for black people. And that's where the contrast is happening because we're seeing other things, other lives, and other people or other groups are jockeying and making, and they're doing the majority of the crap. And yet they're getting more stuff done for them. And
Very true.
and that's kind of getting very frustrating for a lot of us. So a black man's body's on the pavement, but somehow another group got is now being brought to light. Well, this type of life of sexuality matters, or this type of group matters. Or I'm like, wait, why not the black family matters, or why not these black issues in schools, or these black issues with jobs and furlough? Why are they not being brought up? As far as it's going for law enforcement, I don't like. As far as going for law enforcement, and look, we do need some type of social police reform. That cannot
Absolutely.
be overlooked. We understand that. I covered the Ahmaud Arbery. I talked to people that are part of NAGA, and I'm trying to tell black people like, hey, being realistic. You know, being ex-military. You know, so well, there's going to be a racial war. Well, listen, dude, I love my people, but let's be honest, we can't afford no damn racial war. We're 13%.
Right.
I don't know. We already are. We already have a issue with just getting resources. You as a black woman know how hard it is. You already know how hard it is working up the job through the ladder of work. So I know as a black man, shoot, that just gives anybody a reason. And that's not saying that anybody's afraid. I hate when people say, well, I guess you're afraid. No, fool. That just means we already understand that literally when they like cutting off, and they already don't mind cutting off resources from certain communities, schools and stuff. Imagine how hard it's going to be. Let's not pretend that we are not intersectionally connected. So you're saying fight the white man, and that makes sense. But when it's come time to go out and vote, and I got to be honest, black men, you don't go out and vote. The black women do, predominantly. That's why they don't talk to us like that when it comes to that. And we've been seeing these kind of gender wars. If I'm not sure if you noticed it,
yes, absolutely, yep.
And I think it's growing. I think for the most part, for me and you, I can't. Well, I know for me, it's growing tiring.
Yeah.
And I had to talk with a woman. She's part of BLM, and she said, "Well, women go through this. Women go through that." I said, "Whoa, this is not about gender. It should be. We don't. I get gender's an issue at times, but that's a micro issue. We need to actually handle the overall issue. Well, then somebody of an alternate life, you know, they say, well, our lives matter. Well, black. Sorry, your issue gets put down. That's a sexual issue. We're talking about a black issue. I say, quit trying to make it about just your problem. Make it about the overall problem. Because when you start doing that, somebody's going to get pissed off, you know. And we've been seeing that. Now, the George Floyd, the Ahmaud Arbery, the Breonna Taylor, I think one of our biggest issues is But I haven't talked on the Walter Wallace thing yet. That's going to piss off a lot of people. The Ahmaud Arbery, I was fine with that. The Breonna Taylor, I was okay with going into that. The George Floyd, he had COVID, and also he had mental problems. I was fine with that. The Walter issue, I can't get behind that one. That man has too many issues to back, and I feel like we're jumping behind things, but I don't think that we're actually examining the people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, do your research on the people before you say, "Oh my God, we lost another baby." No, stop. Like, find out the people that you're doing, but you know they're gonna pull out their facts, and then we be looking crazy. Like, damn, I did not know he threatened to kill his baby mama 4 times.
Right.
Or threatened to shoot up his kid's house. Like, that's not somebody I'm going to march for. I don't care what y'all say. Well, he's a black man. I don't care, because I'm a black man and I never threatened to kill my kids or my wife. I never threatened to do that. So I don't want that to represent me. You know, I'm not going to represent somebody who threatened to kill a black woman. We got to choose more knowledgeable things that we have going on. But also, if we have issues in our community, and this is where they always get us at. Whenever we see a black person doing something wrong in the community or doing something wrong to another race, we got to beat the whites or any other group to the punch, calling them out.
Correct. Agree with that.
Now, if I'm wrong saying that, you can tell me I'm wrong.
No, I agree.
But I feel like that looks like we're hypocritical about wanting change for our community. You know, I'm just looking at it like there was a dude. He's supposed to be a prominent member of the community. He made good money, but he had a problem with whenever he would get a certain type of way, he would put his hands on people, and people would brush up under the rug. Okay.
Oh yeah. I got you.
So after a few years, one of his supposedly, his girl slipped and she ended up in the ICU. Nobody said anything about it. Now it comes down the forefront. Another female he got involved with came out the forefront. Now, this is not me shaming black men, but a lot of people are.
Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have been. I hate being on the phone. Phone goes silent. But he wanted to go to DC to go talk for blacks about, and I'm like, you can't go. No. He said, why? Why not? You know what I do for this community? And all this stuff. I said, you're a woman beater. You can't go talk for us. And he was like, yes, I can. He was like, no. And then people wanted to send him. Why not? You know what I'm saying? He ain't got no charges, allegedly. R. Kelly was allegedly. There's a lot of people who are alleged. But we already know. Come on now. I make it seem like criminals can't beat charges. Like, dog, listen, man. We can't send you, man. You're not sprinkled clean. And I think that's a big issue I'm having. That I'm tired of us sending entertainers. I'm tired of us sending the 6-figure people to go talk for me and you.
Right.
They don't live in my zip code. They don't live in your zip code. They don't live in our tax bracket. They're not the ones getting shot and gunned down and beat up. They're not. Shit, they live in Hill Valley with those who get to watch from a ivory tower. Who would you want? You would want to send you. You would want to send me. You would want to send the people who are actually that have their kids going to a public school or have to go to the grocery store or walk the park at night just with their dog or their mate, anything like that. You would want to send that person.
Absolutely. Because that person has like a real story. I know like when I was like 19, I started working heavy when it came to housing advocacy and it came to youth issues. And so like they chose me because of the fact that I was a Black woman and I was very, very articulate and I wasn't afraid to sell politicians off if I needed to.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was in the board of organization of the Northeast, which is now called One Northside, for 4 years. And so like I did stuff around the country, talking about, what we were going through and what our experiences was. We had a situation with my family where we had been in the same place for 16 years, and then they decided to go condo, and all of a sudden we go somewhere else and they tell us that, oh, they're never going to do the same thing. They're just, they just want to be in the community. They sell the building. So like literally I go from not being in one place for 16 years to having to move 3 times in 3 years. And it was just traumatic and frustrating. And it was all because of gentrification. So I completely understand. And so I would tell my story and what happened and all those kinds of things. And it helps to get youth a voice in this in Chicago, which is very, very hard. People don't understand. Like kids have voices now, but back in the day, kids didn't have voices when it came to politics or their schools or anything. Social media allows them to have their voice now, but back in the day, no, people had no idea what was going on because these kids had no voices or any kind of influence on what was going on in this country. And I wish these kids would understand how powerful their voices are now. Yes, and they're sharing all this mess when you should be sharing things that are going to help and uplift yourselves.
No, I agree. I agree with that. And I guess, in us talking about the climate of everything going on, because I see you going over somebody talking about, I think it's time for us to start going independent. And that's for me as a conservative. Like, I'm conservative when it comes to family, financial equity, and us spending on each other,
Right.
Doing business and stuff like that. I hate that I automatically get pulled into Republican, and I'm like, nah, dude. Blacks, we're predominantly conservative because of we want families and we want money, and if we have our way, I think I would rather go to a black person to do my dreads than just some random person that don't know shit about me or my culture, or you see what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
And so that's in essence we're naturally conservative. That's just how we are. And so when I hear us saying that, hey, you know what? I think we should just deal with ourselves, and people say, "Whoa, man, that's talking about racism." No, it's not. It's just saying that it runs less of the risk of me hearing another one's got popped. But there's something that I want to cut at. But even if we're talking about dealing with racism in white America, I want to cut at something that's even harder. That's going to have to be a pill to swallow. Mm-hmm. Black people don't trust black people too much.
That's definitely true. I've had more bad experiences with the African American community because of the way I speak than so.
I felt bad when I said, "Is that a white guy?"
That's what I was like, "How are you gonna ask that question? You sound just as proper as I do. What the hell?" I have questions now.
It's you know what? It's because whenever we get on telecom, we innately our voices subconsciously code switch sometimes, or sometimes, and it's not like I said. I do have my Geechee Gullah in me, but it's sometimes like, you know what? Oh, I did it again. And I'm like, it's hard speaking Ebonics sometimes. But no, and that's bad because we orientate our correlation to speaking well, like how the brother was speaking as white, not just you're just a black man.
Exactly. And that's the problem. That's the issue. Is there's a misconception that, if we're speaking proper, then we're trying to do white. Child, the mess I had to go through when I was a kid. Oh my god.
Why are you talking like that?
Right. Why you speak like that? Well, are you not a black girl? Blah, blah, blah. What? Are you sure? Are you positive? Oh my God, I used to be on the party line back in the day. They're like, and it would be so funny. I just for fun, I'd be like, guess what nationality I am? They'd be like Hispanic, white. There's no way you could be black. I said, I'm sorry, what?
They told you.
Yeah, there's no way you can be black. Nuh-uh. I'm like, yeah. They're like, no, you're lying, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Keep believing that bullshit.
But there was a survey from a content creator that asked, would black women ever want to go back to black men, or would they rather just keep dealing with white supremacy? And a lot of the black women said that, yo, we rather just deal with white supremacy. I'm not going back to the black man like that. And and I was angry and upset at first, and I did some content on that. But then as time went on, and even for me as a black man, I had to be honest and give a fair shake. And this is not me hating on my people, but I gotta be fit. If we're gonna talk about, well, if I gotta deal with that white man, that means I have to learn how to deal with that black man. And we have a caste system of how we treat each other and how we treat our women, how we treat those with certain type of financial, or just how, like you said, how you talk, or your background, people's sexuality. If I can't pay you, let somebody find out that there's a black gay man. Oh my God, yeah, he can't speak for men. He's gay.
Oh my goodness, I hate that mess. It's so crazy.
So and I'd be like, well, wait, did he stop being a man, or how did that work? But I have two people part of the LGBT on my panel. They have really valid points. They care about just being black.
Exactly.
So, like I said, I don't want people to think that oh well, I'm showing you. Again, our personal agenda doesn't come before the whole agenda. But I understand why we're at this point now. Yes, we want Black lives to matter, but the way we've been treating each other, I can understand why a lot of Black women, they're like, yo, once I get my bread up and all my stuff, yo, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I got to hit Dodge. You know what I'm saying? I don't even get mad when I'm hearing divest. I don't even get mad at that anymore. I'm like, well, shoot, listen, stop living. Listen, that man or that woman ain't gonna get their life together. I know you've been waiting for them for like 12 years. Yo, you might have to open up the ranks. And I know some people gonna say, why are you saying it? No, because you have a right to happiness also.
Absolutely.
You have a right to happiness. And I think that's going to be a big heal, because we're hearing a lot about the Lift Every Voice plan and the platinum plan, which I'm going to talk about that later. I got to send you an email, but I definitely want to talk with you or anybody about that.
Definitely, yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff, and I think that now there's the contract plan. I'm like, well, that's that. Now there's a contract with America, but it's going to be hard to really want to get those who have made it in these harsh climates to want to work with Black people. See, white people, you can't force Black people to work with Black people.
Right.
And we got to be honest that even with the political climate, we weren't fucking up white people's businesses. Yeah, let's be honest.
That's the one thing that frustrated the hell out of me. I was like, let me get this straight. So we talking about, so we're saying Black Lives Matter and and help Black people, but you messing up Black businesses. Did you miss the fact that it was a Black business before you destroyed it? And did you forget that you were going there for like 15 years and all of that? Yeah. Like, where was the thought process in a lot of that looting? Like, I understand, like, the major change. Like I understand the one in Minneapolis. I understand what happened there. I understand the situation. how they refuse to help them in terms of like letting them buy milk, letting them purchase milk to to soothe their eyes. I understand that situation. I get that. I'm like, oh, y'all wasn't even trying to help. Well, fuck y'all. I get that part. But to do it corporately, to go and destroy things on Michigan Avenue, I'm like, you do realize that people are just about to open up. Their businesses are supposed to open up next week. That was the crazy thing about it, because it was right before everything was supposed to open up around the country, especially here. So now all these businesses that have not been able to operate because of COVID now have to rebuild because y'all dumbasses wanted to steal some shit. Right. Really? And the excuse is, well, they have insurance. No, not the small businesses that's been around. It's like a mom and pop shop and was barely making it to begin with, and was trying to rebuild and just put stuff in there because they were opening next week because they were expecting idiots to come and smash windows. Come on now.
And see, that's the kerfuffle. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm in Charleston. And me and my brother and a few other people, white and black, we had to go get guns.
Yeah.
I didn't care if you were black, if you was white. I didn't care who you were, how old you were. Listen, we told the cops, listen, y'all can set up y'all blockades for them areas, but listen, I'm gonna have my gun ready for my area. And I had to shoot some rock salt in two people's chests. But I said, listen, y'all don't care about me. I got to still feed mine. Mm-hmm. And y'all trying to tear up what we got.
Exactly.
It's not easy. There's this black woman, there's this black girl there with her sister and her daughter. They were trying to protect their little boutique clothing store with baseball bats. I said, Mama, man, I slid that girl a pistol. I said, listen, girl, just hit me up on the radio. I'm right here, man. I promise you. Just leave. Keep your door locked and closed. Mm-hmm. Put on there, this is a black spray paint on there. This is a black-owned business. If they still try to doggone do something, light them up.
Yeah.
That means they don't care.
Right.
And we caught some white kids.
Yep.
We did catch, so it is true. There are some white kids, and I'm like, hold up now. Where y'all from? Mm-hmm. Where y'all from? Oh, we're here to protest.
No,
we asked you a question. What school you go to? Well, we're from out of town. Oh, okay. So
exactly. They were coming from around the country to go and destroy things. Why? Right. They didn't live there and it had nothing to do with them. And so they didn't have to worry about the aftermath. That's what the issue was.
Right.
Like I said, when I was talking about, like, when it came to Atlanta, I know you saw on CNN who destroyed that building. That was a white little skater boy. I said, y'all gonna let the skater boy just sit there and just bust the CNN building? Okay, that's cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to live in Airport Road, and I used to live in Airport Road on College Park. So okay. I know all. See, like I said, and I told my ex, I said, yo, take the kids, y'all go stay at your mama's house. You know what I'm saying? I sent them some money. You know what I'm saying? She was like, no, I'm not leaving my house. I'm saying, no, you can't listen.
Hey.
No, you can't stay up there because when people get stupid, they don't care for those. And I said, if I hear one of my babies get hurt, I'm coming down to Atlanta. I don't care who you are, what color, what gender, you catching that wrath. So take the kids. And see, that's the problem. That's the problem that we're having with the protests. Mm-hmm. I feel like we have to do a civic check with them. Like, yo, like, if you want to be rocking with us, listen, don't be bringing no rocks. Don't be bringing no kind of stuff. I get it. The police are coming. All y'all, if we can, all we got to do is just put, and we've been having memorandums doing that on emails where we've been telling people, listen, y'all, if we're going to do this protest in Charleston, first off, we're going to do it organized. We got to have, like, I think we had banners and we had certain stuff on our shirts. So if you didn't have that on, and see, the thing about it is they're going to tell you, I'm not sure if some of y'all been to the protest, we coordinate with the police, with the protest.
Yes,
so,
you're supposed to.
Yes. So that way they know who to protect, but also what you also need to tell them, yo, if you see anybody else here that does not have on their shirt what we got on, or they're not sitting where we're at, now they're fair game. They're fair game. We don't know who the hell that is. Fuck them up. Because that means they're agent. And they have been a few agents. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the pastor Howell. He was like, yo, like, y'all didn't come with us on the church. Did y'all come with us on the church bus? Oh, we rode on that bus.
No.
Excuse me, Sheriff. We got them.
Right, period.
Right there. That's how it always gets messed up. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there was supposed to be a black woman protest. All of a sudden, these white Becky started coming out like, what
okay, I heard about that craziness. Like, I was like, wait, what?
the white girl started coming out, and the black girl, and they were getting all of course, the camera's gonna run over there to them and start talking about that. And the black woman, she started cursing, hold the F up, hold up.
That's the crazy part. I heard about the black women protest, and I was like, why are there so many white women protesting for black women? I'm confused right now, especially when black women have been behind a lot of these protests, even back to the Martin Luther King days, to be quite honest. They just didn't give the credit for it. And that's the issue. If you haven't already done so, please thumbs up this video. If you have not already done so, please thumbs up this video. Business Minded Talk is here with me today. We are discussing racism in America. I was originally playing a show that we had in Nexxlegacy a few months ago, right after the riots and everything. And so we were having a conversation on air. And so, so what do you go by on here exactly?
Oh, just BMT. It's just BMT.
So BMT came in and he was chatting and he was like, "Are you gonna do a panel discussion?" I'm like, "Sure, you can come on up and have a conversation regarding what's going on," because it's a very, very tricky issue. There's so many things that we can't. Before black people can get together and for real, we have to discuss our colorism situation that nobody wants to talk about. So
no, that's true. Like
nobody wants to talk about that part though.
We have that. That's the thing about it, because it's like we got the racism part, but one of the big devices that they use in the racism is the colorism mechanism that comes into play, because we know that a lot of our people have insecurities, not just the females, not just the women, but also the men, and also it plays out. We have a lot of different mechanisms of the colorism, the caste system, of money. Well, if you're poor, or if you're not from this certain type of walk of life, then we may speak proper. There might be somebody who speaks with more of a broken dialect. Right. Well, of course, the broken dialect person, they will probably get more of the camera light, because they'll and I always hate that. Now, this is
right. Every time I'm like, wait, what?
I'm like, wait, hold on. You went to the person that can't speak proper.
Yes.
But see, that's a media play.
Absolutely. No question.
Go ahead.
No question. It's definitely a media play. This is why it is so important to have independent media. It's why it's so important to have Black media specifically, because the mainstream media is not giving us that kind of play, and they consistently have shown us that they only want to show us in a bad light. And it's happened so many times. I'm like, why haven't we realized this yet? When it came down to the situation in Baltimore, I remember specifically because it was so crazy, because the media was told to stay there. And so the organizers came out and they're like, "Oh, y'all still here?" Because what they thought they were gonna have was like riots all, just for days and days and days. And there was one day of riots. The rest of the time was us people cleaning up. So the media is sitting there and the organizers are saying, "So y'all don't come around when we have 10,000 people up here doing a peaceful protest, but y'all come around when the riots happen." That's cute. We just had, organized a situation where we had the gangs coming together and working with one another, but y'all didn't care about that part. Y'all didn't come around, so we started burning shit.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I see you for what you are. And so the media is looking all embarrassed because you're now forced to speak to all these people that you weren't expecting to speak to because you were trying to quote unquote get a story. We have a totally different story now because I've said working in organizing for years, I know what it takes to get to the point. And if you can get a peaceful protest of 10,000 people, that's a huge thing. There should be tons of media out there, and the fact that there wasn't is the big problem. But like I said, that's why it's so important to have independent media. It's why it's important to have podcasting and live streaming and all that kind of stuff. Live streaming is so important because it's real time. There's no editing. That's what I like about it. There's no editing, so you're not able to paint a narrative the way that you can when you can edit things.
Right. No, and see that's that's where we got to get ahead of the forefront, and and actually start learning how to play. We know how they play games. That's the infuriating part. And you have to have a certain memorandum of code guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, my cousins, they want to go out there to protest, but they were dressed up, looking like crazy as hell. I said, listen, nigga, you got to pull up your damn pants. Bro, this is how I get it. No food. They're gonna put the camera on you. They're gonna do all that crazy shit. Do you see me busting the sag? Do you see me dressing the type of way? Listen, man, you gonna have to put some stuff on. And I get some of y'all gonna be like, oh, well, why are you trying to keep it real? No. When keeping it real goes wrong. Because we see what keeping it real has done for our community right now. And it's not, we live now. So like I said, they try to pinpoint the weak in the flock and doggone try to attack or try to pinpoint, just like we've been catching white people, make them little fake gunshots. And now you got the crazy zealot militias coming out.
Right.
And we need to get at that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother problem. Child.
So
it's a whole nother situation.
We got because we got the NFAC, and I guess they got now all the white Chicken George hillbilly people are coming out.
Right.
But I'm seeing more of you black women joining that coalition than the black men. Pay attention, Dan. More of y'all are joining into that. I'm seeing a lot of women going. Now, I'm not saying black men ain't in there. But I'm seeing a lot of y'all women going from there. And y'all are not, and I listen, I have been in 2 wars. I have been in plenty of firefights. I have my time in. Listen, them people are not properly trained. They look cute for show, but they're not properly trained.
No, they're not, and that's the issue. There's this misconception of how we're supposed to act and what we're supposed to do, and the problem is nobody's saying what the real issue is. Nobody's having the real conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like we have this, and I agree. There definitely needs to be you need to go independent because both parties are working together. To be quite honest, like I know. Facts. I went down to a Young Dems event, and it was years ago. And I remember specifically because I randomly walking behind this group of Young Dems from the South, and they said, and I quote, "Racism sounds better in the Southern accent." Now, mind you, this is a Young Democrats event. I was like, "Ooh, interesting."
No, he's right. He's right. I think if we look at it, and you're in the South like me.
I'm in Chicago.
You're in Chicago? Okay, so I'm in the South.
So I've seen some craziness.
Okay, yeah. I would say this: in the South, and this is why I prefer the South. I lived up north, but I prefer the South racism more than the northern. The reason why is the racists don't hide. They're pretty straightforward to your face.
Right. That's what.
So when he says the southern racism, has a better feel coming out the mouth than the north, but they let you know what the fuck you doing over here. This is my side, and you got your side, nigga. I don't fuck with you. Oh, okay, cool, good. I rather deal like keep it 100.
Right.
They come on over here. They don't fuck with us. I don't know why you trying to sell him that butter biscuit and that lemonade. Come on over here. You don't fuck with us. He already done told it. I can deal with that because there's no sucking and jiving. What you see is what you get.
Period.
And for me as a Republican, this is where I hate them blacks that be doing that fake shit, that king face shit, and all them other candles and stuff. I hate when they say leave the plantation, but I'm like, so you want me to leave the plantation to go into another goddamn burning building?
Period. Right.
Because then you leave from open racism to systematic racism.
Yes.
To where I got different ways, even more critical to mess with you. Where it comes to jobs, where it comes to food deserts, where it can come to education, where it comes to how the police, the way how they treat certain sectors of your city or your area. When it comes to same boys, different color, do the same thing, different equations of how they exactly. This one gets 3 months to 5 months of probation. This one gets 5 to 15 years.
Come on.
Woman runs into a store, but she can't take her baby in there with a mask. She said, I can see you. I can see you through the glass. Comes back, police right there, lock her up. She got to do 20 years.
Wow.
White woman runs in there, comes right back, police officer giving them ice cream. And I'm like, what the fuck? Hold on. So we understand, well, she should have took her baby with her. Oh, black man. What, have you lost your mind?
Exactly.
They didn't change. They didn't change the shit. The only thing they're doing is they're just doing it in your face. Like you make it seem like they fuck with you. And I see that's the thing about it. Like they tolerate us. They don't fuck with you. They just tolerate you. And like I said, I'm never on a racial goddamn tirade. But I think me and you both understand the weight of the world for what it is.
Absolutely.
The masculation of the woman on TV. Women are made to look more strong, masculine. They hate and rah against men. That fuck men, I don't need them and all that shit. Now, if you don't like men and you want to live your truth and licky, that's on you. I ain't stopping you, girl. Do y'all. But then I also see the emasculation of the men, where somehow all the men are emasculated and that they can't be men. That somehow most black men on shows, they're going to be gay. And I'll be like, well, damn, like we don't get no masculine roles anymore. Like, and if I do get a masculine role, then that means I'm a bad guy, or that I'm a swirl, or that way you won't ever. The age back in the day where there used to be a '90s wholesome, strong black woman, strong black man family with kids. Shit, them days are gone. I get that the world has changed. I get you to live your truth, but the imagery of us having a wholesome family is gone in the eyes of America. And I think that's why a lot of other black diasporas from the Caribbeans, from Africa, they don't really want to touch us because the imagery that has been painted by the system has damaged us to where by 2026, we will be a permanent underclass in America.
Wow. That's crazy.
Just think about it. Every minority that has come here, or every other group that has come here, has now superseded us. Just think about it.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking. We got to help dreamer kids, but there are more of our kids where in the foster care system than any other child. So who are we helping? If our who are we saving? We got to help. We got to help these women of color. Wait, which woman of color are you talking about?
Right.
Which woman of color?
Yeah, we've definitely gone off of what the agenda was when it came to helping the African American community and worked on everyone else. And I'm like, how did that happen? Wait a second. I think what we've done as a people, where it's kind of frustrating, is where we've allowed ourselves to be put against things as well. So like when it comes to the rainbow community, there's a my problem with it is that like people forget that there are Black folks that are part of the rainbow community. And so when they just like, oh, it's the rainbow community against the Black community, I'm like, there are people that are in both. Imagine how they feel when you say that stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been an ally for the rainbow community since I was a child. So I will always speak up on that. And I think the problem is, but I do agree that there aren't that many masculine roles, and the misconception of what the gay guys are, how they are, because every gay guy is not feminine, every gay guy is not flamboyant, but that's the misconception that people see on television, because that's how they're portrayed. So it's like when you meet somebody that isn't, you're like, wait, what do you mean they don't act this way? I'm like, but they're not. But that again, you're putting the rainbow community into a box. It's not always about being out there and being crazy and this and that and the third. Yes, there are some people that are, but that's not always about that. That's why you're so shocked when you see someone that isn't. But again, that comes back to the whole situation of us as a people being put in a box in general, because there's a misconception of how we're supposed to act and what we're supposed to do based on the color of our skin. It's like, wait, what? And if you're too proper, they say you're trying to act light skin, like all this kind of just dumb stuff that we do to ourselves.
Right.
And that's what needs to change first. Before we can go and change anything within the rest of the country, world, whatever, we have to fix that part first. We have to have those conversations like, why are we still allowing the things that separated us during slavery to still separate us? We have the situation. If you are African American in this freaking country, you have had the same issues at some point. At some point, you have been called out of your name. At some point, you've been denied something. At some point, it has happened, whether you want to admit it or not. It's not about playing the freaking race card. It's just what happens, because that's just how systematic racism works. Period, point blank. They've been very clear that jobs have not hired people based on their names. And I've seen the tests for those, and it's sad to see that. Yeah, it's crazy that parents will name their children insane things so they don't think about that. But it's the same token to not even allow the kids to have a chance to have a future just based on their name is disrespectful and is prejudice, no matter how you look at it.
I think one of the things about it, and I came out on talking about how I was sold into child sexual abuse. I was sold into child prostitution at a young age.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The energy I was given as a Black man, and I deal with my stuff. I deal with my sexuality. I deal with me wanting to be wholesome and family oriented. I deal with all that.
Right.
You know? I deal with all that. So I know. I understand. So in saying that out loud, I was perceived as gay.
Right.
perceived as gay. And so the ability to speak about rape and sexual abuse. Granted, we know that nobody gets sexually abused better than black people. I'm sorry, y'all could try to want to fight me, refute me, debate me. You can try to fight or debate the sister, but see, that's one of the big issues of the racism that a lot of people say. Well, nobody's gonna ever believe that sister. And this is why I think why a lot of the women are like, you know what? I refuse to let the men sometimes take hold of the movement, because we know that sometimes they might. And this is something that one of the women told me, that they felt like, hey, that man going to abuse his power.
Mm.
And I was like, well, damn. I was like, damn, is it really like that? She's like, no, like, look how they treat the people that came out for Me Too. And I said, well, damn, that's interesting. I said, what do you mean? They said, well, look at it. A woman comes out saying that she was sexually abused. She gets a backlash. Why did you say that about that black man? Hold on, wait.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to help you fight racism, but when I tell you my story of me being sexually abused by one of our own, and listen, I'm not making this a black on black. This is going to be about racism. See, that's a problem, because if you can't want me to tell on the massa, but I can't tell on the goddamn person that looks like me. That, and we know, we know somebody. We heard the stories about the church thing going bad, the stuff going bad. Where I want to trust this person, but I'm afraid that it's going to happen again.
Right.
And so that's where you're dealing with the colorism. That's where you're dealing with the. We have a lot of issues and demons going on.
Yes.
We have a lot of issues and demons going on. And I think that now we're burnt out. To be fair, we're burnt out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I was just talking about it earlier, because it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and like the way that men have been treated when they talk about domestic violence in terms of them being the victims, the way the cops treat them is disgusting. Like, cops will be laughing and just being like, well, how do you allow that? That's the third. I'm just like, they're victims, treat them like freaking victims. But no, you want to say, well, how are you a man? That kind of crap. And I'm just like, that's the problem there, is that when it comes to that situation, there isn't equal punishment. And people aren't going to say anything if they feel that they're going to be demeaned when they speak up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we have to really get to the point where we hold everyone accountable when it comes to domestic violence. Because you can't just say, well, it's just men against women. It's not. It's not at all. Men won't say anything when they're the victims, because of the way that they're treated, because of the way that is perceived, because they're perceived as not, quote unquote, being a man, and all that kind of mess. And that has to stop, and that needs to stop now. And that's the issue. It's like, we always say that we want to be equal and this and the third, but the way that that people have been treated, the way that people act is contradictory of that. Like, there needs to be some kind of training for law enforcement for the way they handle those situations, because obviously they don't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to that. And same thing when it comes to same gender community, same gender couples. Like, I've heard that situation as well. They don't know who to arrest, and no matter who comes in and says that there's an issue, they don't know which one of the people to arrest when it comes to domestic violence. When it's the same gender couple. I'm just like, wait, what? Are you kidding me? And the way that they've been treated, from what I've heard, it's despicable. We have a lot of things that we need to fix, most definitely.
And so, but I know some people say, well, what does it have to do with racism? What does it have to do with the problems? Y'all gotta understand though, these mechanisms. This is why. This is why. And Billy Porter, use him. Billy Porter says, "Yo, like, uh, uh, y'all tell me about racism with white people." And Billy Porter has spoken against racism, but he also spoke about, well, shit. I got my ass treated like shit in my own community. So when y'all tell me to go fight the fight for racism, see now he's saying, well, damn, why would you make me want to join the fight? You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people say, well, if the black woman did this, so we getting pointed to the black woman. And then after that, the black woman's going to bring up, well, equality and how black men treat us. And, and I'm not going to lie, I was one of the very few black men, and I was sharing La Brea. And, I had a few men asking, well, what's she doing out there in the streets? And I'm like, nigga, why does it matter?
Exactly.
Why does it matter why she out there in the street? Like, do y'all ask these kind of questions?
Child.
If it had been your child, would you have asked that same question? Or you like, we need to get her back home?
Exactly. Period. That's what it was. That's what I don't understand. That's literally what it was. People were like, you know what? I don't even care. I just want to figure out where this kid is. She hasn't said anything in a couple of days. Let's try to get her back home. We'll figure everything else later. That's what it was. But like you were saying, if it had been a Becky or whatever, it'd be a totally different situation. And people know that. It took a lot for people to even pay attention because it was like, oh, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a lot. You didn't even pay attention. But had it been a white girl, there would have been no question.
Right.
It would have been everywhere. Like no, like super duper quick. But no, we had to do multiple broadcasts and tag 10,000 different things. Like it was sad. So had it been a situation where she was in danger, we could have said that we put our best foot forward to help. So hey, Diamond and Dory, how are you? Thank you for coming, and thank you everyone that's come through. The Detroit Munch Bar. Who else is here? BMT is here with me, face silver. So if you guys haven't done so, make sure you guys subscribe to him. I put his link in the chat so you guys can make sure that you guys go ahead and do that because he's definitely giving some game right now. It's always very interesting to talk to people that are part of different definitely Black conservatives. I think I'm glad that you said it. You're like I'm Black conservative, not Republican. There's a difference. I'm glad that you made that clear because there is a misconception all the time,
right?
Because of the people that have been represented as Black conservatives that are Republicans, they're just ignorant as hell. So
right, and I think there's a misconception. I don't like the narrative that's played out for a Black person that's a Democrat. That, well, if they're a Democrat, surely they want handouts. I'm like, damn, when the hell did they say that?
That part. What the hell? No.
Like, when the hell did all this? They didn't say they want a handout. They just said listen, man. I want the system to do its damn job. Like,
period. Right. That's why I'm confused.
So there's like I said, like it. I think that's a big issue that happens. I want the system to do its job. I want it to be on point. Like, damn it. Like, I want police reform. Like, listen, I'm paying my taxes for you not to beat my ass or shoot me or shoot my boyfriend, but actually, do your job. Like, come by, you know what I'm saying? Y'all have a talk with us. You know what I'm saying? If something gets too out of order, you know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all can go out there, just have a talk with them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all can, if y'all have any paperwork in your car to advise us, hey, why don't y'all have a video counseling with a counselor rather than us put him in a holding cell or something? Listen, man, there's so much goddamn things. There's a lot of social programs that are not doing their job that we need to take that money and reallocate it to things that can do a job. But doesn't mean just because you're a Black Democrat, you want handout, welfare, you want doggone white daddy, I'm not going to be ignorant to say that's what they want. They
Not at
must
all.
be.
And that's the misconception. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize all we literally want is to be able to be on the same playing field. Like, when it comes to job opportunities, when it comes to companies, when it comes to all of that, even when it comes to, I'm sure you heard about it when it came to the PPP loans and all that kind of mess and how
Yes.
that got just, Jesus. When I heard about that, I was like, wait, what? Who got it? How the hell the Lakers even applied for a damn PPP loan? They make billions of dollars. I'm confused.
The
Even
small
if
business.
you're missing a couple of dollars now, you've still made billions of dollars. You should not be playing for shit.
That's where the inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
And see, this is where the breath of Antifa gets to breathe life.
Yeah.
And I don't get mad. And I understand, but I don't support them. I don't support them. But I understand an evil will get met with another evil.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we brought up the NFAC,
Right.
The minute they show their force, and I agree. Listen. I know y'all say, well, white people, they be showing their guns too. Okay, fair enough. Me, and Dana, we will give you that. White people do show their guns. Danaya. Excuse me, Danaya. Let me make sure. I'm Joe. BMT. If you want to call me Joe, that's fine. Cool. So Danaya will say, okay, I get it, y'all. White people showing their guns. But we want to also be honest. Majority of the time, they hold back what they really have. They're not showing you everything that they got.
Right.
Us doing goddamn Facebook Live showing everything we got going on, that's just dumb.
I agree. That was I agree. That was stupid. I agree. The people that were sitting up there and looting on camera. What were y'all trying to accomplish? Like, you literally gave the cops their damn evidence. They didn't have to do nothing but turn to your Instagram, turn to your Facebook, turn to your YouTube. You were sitting there. Shout out to Madam 81. We were sitting there watching these people. We're watching a quote unquote peaceful protest turn into a damn riot, and then y'all fools sitting up there with your cameras just filming all of your crimes and wondering why y'all have jail time now. You're sitting there breaking into banks. Like, what the hell were you thinking? Because this is a time of, there's so much chaos going on. They're not going to catch you, baby. You're on camera and you're giving them the footage. I'm confused on why you thought that behavior was acceptable. I know your mama was ready to beat you up when they got home and saw you on the news because you were up there sitting there, filming yourself on Instagram or whatever. You got all these views. That's great. Are all those people going to pay for your damn bail? The answer is no.
And that's the thing about it. That when you say that, Danaya, that's I try to let people know, like, listen, man, for every action, there's a reaction.
Absolutely.
Danaya gets into a fight with a female. She comes off her wrong. She beats the girl's ass. She may feel good about it, but now she got to go do the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now she got to go pay the fees. Now she's gonna have it on her record. Okay, but she got her respect. Okay, you got your respect, but at what cost? Because now, whenever you try to go get a better job or whatever, they're gonna look at your record. And you're gonna say, well, for that 15 or the 5 minutes of whatever frustration you have, and they're gonna say, well, white people. See, there goes that phrase, white people. Because I don't hear them running around saying that much about us. Like, well, black people do it too.
Mm-hmm.
They know that's not going to be a good enough excuse. And I say, y'all know damn well as black people, we have to be on game. Be on game with everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
We can't afford that. When Danaya goes into that office, listen, I can't get away with the same thing that white girl getting away with. I gotta be on point Because the minute I mess up, they're not gonna get they're not gonna give it the same leniency. Same thing for me when I was in the military. White boy come to formation drunk, halfway coked up. I said this nigga should be under the jail. I come there with a little bit of a messed up uniform. They ready to do a crucifixion on me.
Wow.
But I understood that, you know what? I have to be ahead of the game. You know, I just have to. And for Black people, listen, I know it's not fair. I know we're saying that's not fair. And I'm gonna pass it over to Danaya, but I think the women are starting to understand it better than the men. If you truly want the power, you got to get in positions of authority to where you can just influence your own power.
Yes, absolutely.
And let me know if I'm wrong. I know some people say, BMT, you sound sexist, sound like you caking for women. This is why Black men, this is why I understand why some of the lower-minded thinking Black men, you're angry at the Black woman because you're watching them do stuff and move.
Right.
And get into positions of authority. But you don't feel like the Black man is moving up also, just the Black woman. And that's something that we need to talk about.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's a crazy situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, the biggest problem that we have is communication, period. The biggest problem that we have is communication. We don't talk to one another. We talk at one another. That's the issue. Or what we'll do is we don't listen. We'll just listen enough to respond and not really hear one another. So communication is down because of that.
How can I or our fellow Black men understand what is the echoing voice with you with the Black? What's going on in y'all in the powder room? What are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about?
It depends. I mean, I was talking about business. We're talking about what we need to do in order to thrive beyond all this craziness, especially right now. Like, people don't understand that when it came to the whole situation with the pandemic, we thought, okay, so a lot of us do a lot of work online. Let's figure out how do we thrive through this, as opposed to as opposed to freaking out because now we can't go out, we can't travel the way we used to. Like, okay, the internet allows you to be able to build your brand around the world, go beyond being local. So let's figure out a way to market ourselves and figure out a way to build these relationships so that we can help one another. And that's like literally, that's the misconception. Like, that's what we talk about. I'm talking about crazy stuff. We're talking about how do we build with one another for the most part, at least in my circle. That's what we're talking about. Is how do we build and help? How do we build and help people? How do we build businesses? Like, shout out to my girl Goddess. She created a whole nail business, because she liked doing nails, and we're like, you should start, doing nails and selling them or whatever. And that's what she's doing now, and it's doing very, very well. But she does great with makeup. She's a great editor. She's a great commentator. You know what I'm saying? She's done well on here because she's put the work in to do so. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but she was able to build that nail business because that was a passion, that's something she loved to do, and she's damn good at it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So those are the conversations that we have. There's this misconception, especially when it comes to YouTube, that behind the scenes, oh yeah, just talking about drama and third. No, we're talking about how do we build these relationships? How do we build these businesses? That's what we're talking about.
Right. I think, and one of the things why I feel that if we're going to fight racism, I need my black woman. And black woman, you're going to need your black man. There's no way in 2020 we're going to beat racism, systematic oppression, and starvation by ourselves on either foothold.
Absolutely.
No matter how much money, you could be an Oprah, you could be Beyonce, you can be whatever type of successful woman, and I could be whatever type of successful black man.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you're going to be a standalone complex.
Mm.
And we've already seen.
Uh-oh. You left off. I don't know what happened. Hey, Dory, how are you? What's going on? Hold on. Let me see what's going on with this thing. StreamYard is dropping people off like crazy. Let me see what happened. Hold on. I'm gonna put the link back up. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna put the link back up. If you haven't already done so, please thumbs up this video. If you've not already done so, please thumbs up this video. StreamYard's cutting up. It might be too much of a topic for YouTube. We'll see. Hold on. Let me see. Diamond's back.
I'm back. I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. First of all, Danaya and your guest is a wonderful conversation, near and dear to me. Not sure. We're talking about the state of survival at this point.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know how political I can go on here. All right.
I'm good.
Okay. We are living in America KKK. We have a president that has not and will not denounce white supremacy. We have a president that has told white supremacist organizations, and just recently, I'll check the news of how they're continuously to have that not only a grassroots era, it has never changed. We are still living in the civil rights era. I enjoy one of the best moments was fighting for Trayvon Martin alongside Sabrina Fulton, Benjamin Crump, Natalie Jackson. And I'm going to do my darndest and pray to bring them here, Danaya, to talk to us. We need it.
Definitely. I would love to have a conversation with Sabrina Fulton and kind of like ask her what happens after?
Exactly.
What happens when all the glitz and the glam is gone,
Mm-hmm.
and you're sitting there and you're a mother trying to figure out how do you live for your other child? You know what I'm saying? Like what happens after? How do you handle that part of it? Because the problem is everybody's there, whatever, sending letters and yada yada yada. But like I said, all of that's over. The cameras are gone.
Right.
What happens to the family, and how are you able? What has helped you to be able to thrive through this? What has helped you to be able to try at least attempt to heal?
And I'm sorry I'm moving fast because I'm running errands.
You're good.
Here. I do apologize.
You're good.
Danaya, excellent question. It was personal to all of us. Trayvon was all of our sons. Okay?
Yes.
You understand? And even before the court, I'm going to tell you all something. You are tried. Please, if you don't believe anything I ever tell you, you are tried by the media before you can step in the court of law, period.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay? Unfortunately, we fought. We were part of a team called the Trayvon Warriors.
Right.
And we were actually battling racism against the George Zimmerman Warriors. It was horrible. Horrible. Y'all talk about doxing? Good God Almighty. Okay? Now, when you ask, how do you continue? You continue by what you're doing right now, Danaya. You bring awareness. What you're doing, BMT. What you all are contributing in the chat. Lady Detroit does so much in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You tap into your network, Danaya. And this is what you always speak of. As far as the black male, they took the black male out of the house.
Yes.
You remember that song, Papa Was a Rolling Stone?
The Man in the House rule. Yep.
Okay, that's right. And the man didn't want to leave, but he had to for his children because they would look for shoes, anything. But a man had to sacrifice. So we can't always dog out black men all the time.
Correct.
Okay? And nor can we dog all our white men. Okay? But when we're speaking of the state of the black man, correct? We have to, as queens, my man's the king. And I stand behind him. Oh, Dory, you're subservient. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And what they don't understand is my man makes sure I don't lift a finger because I make sure that when he goes out here and faces America KKK, I have his back. He's all I have. He's all I have. And I'm all that he has. And when I say that, it's because he knows that if he's in need, he can turn to his wife. You understand what I'm saying, Danaya?
Right.
And whether it's your brother, your cousin, the youth, you put your time in. I don't care if it's 10 minutes. You have no idea. I'm going to tell you this story, and I'm going to leave it with this story because I can go on. This is how we move on. Because we're in America KKK. Anytime the president of the United States says his base. No, when you accept the oath of the office, all right, the base is the American people, period.
Period. Supposedly, at least.
All right? Oh, Lord. This is my topic tonight. Oh, my passion. All right? And also, so, I'm going to leave you with this story. My son, my little king, he's in college. He was a homeless man. And he wanted to go in the store to buy something to eat. And they did not. They judged this black man. And he had money. And they kicked him out the store. My young son, he couldn't have been anything. He was a freshman, probably 18. He walked right back in that store and said his money counts too.
Yep.
His money counts too. You see? You do something. You see something, you do something. Just like the hashtag for Lala. That was the best thing we could have done.
Yep.
Because it raised awareness. I don't give a daggone about what she was doing, and all that. No.
You raised awareness.
That's right. And it ties back. You see, Danaya, and I'm going to leave that because it ties back to media counts. And how do you network together? First, let's get this, judgmental crowds in the bell. We want to bring everybody down. Danaya, you know me. We've talked about business.
Yep.
And is there any big eyes and little U's with me?
Nope.
Amen. Because how can I prosper if you don't prosper? Or my partner doesn't prosper?
Precisely.
And I'm going to tell you all, not holy roly, but honey, prayer works. But you networking, you find like-minded people that are willing to sacrifice alongside with you. Because being an entrepreneur, I can tell you, is not easy.
Nope.
It's not for the swift. But it pays off. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, all a job gives you, and we all need our jobs, don't get me wrong. But let's be real. It's your brain, your hard work that makes that company thrive. Your added value.
Yep. And
I'm not going to discuss my videos. It's not right on your channel, Danaya, unless I ask for permission, okay? All right? So I'm not going to get too much in detail, but I do want to contribute to your channel because what you're doing is required. Not needed, required for our survival. Because you think we're not living in America KKK. Oh, yes, we are. You think civil rights is not, this is modern day civil rights. When you think about voting, Kamala Harris passed the anti-lynching law. Think about that one.
The fact that we even had a conversation about the anti-lynching drives me insane. I'm like, why was it not done a long time ago? But then again, we have to remember that slavery never ended.
Sure didn't. And Lincoln owned
it just changed into the black. So what happened? Lincoln, I'm not playing that too. Which was even weirder because he was actually mulatto. But it's a whole nother conversation.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, because his mom was mulatto. So that's a whole Jesus. But since slavery never ended, so what happened was right after slavery, the black codes came in, and with the black codes, what happened was basically we got arrested for doing everything damn near except for breathing. So therefore, people because the law was the 13th Amendment stated specifically that that Black folks are free unless they get locked up. Pretty much, that's when you lose your freedom, and all the rules go out the damn window. Well, so when you're getting locked up for doing everything but freaking breathing, you can now legally be a slave because you've been locked up. So now they don't have to worry about you. They don't have to care about you. They don't have to give any kind of thought to who you are. They don't have to give any kind of respect to you.
Mm-hmm.
People are literally sitting there and dying, building things in the jails.
Yes, they are. And that is their
As a matter
purpose.
of fact, I'm gonna put a link in the chat so you guys can look about the Black codes and hear about that.
Tonight I'm going to drop off, and I want to let you all. First of all, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you. And you mentioned about incarceration. That's huge.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's the goal. That is the goal to get us locked up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because that takes away our power, our constitutional rights. We have to research our past to know where we're going, and not look at his story, but history, and look at the justice system, not just the just us system.
Period.
Voter suppression. Our ancestors died and are still dying, standing in lines, the elderly, trying to cast their vote.
Yep.
Just to have our system compromised. Understand the popular versus the girl. There you go. Come on now.
But even with the Electoral College, people don't understand the reason that the Electoral College even exists. So people are like, oh well, the Electoral College is, if they're the ones that are choosing things, but you have to vote in order to get more. The more votes that you have, the more power your Electoral College has in your state. You still have to vote locally in order for the Electoral College to even work, because it goes based by state. Like there's so much people don't understand. It's like people can say, "Oh, your vote doesn't matter." That's what they want you to think because they don't want you to vote. Why are you not getting this? Especially when it comes to local elections. Local elections are specifically done by the people. There is no electoral college in local elections. So you're talking about your senators, your governor, your mayor, your Lord have mercy, your House of Representatives, all of that.
The school board.
By you, your judges, the school board, that too. Yep, the school board. And some school boards are elected, some school boards are handpicked. That's a whole nother conversation, depending on what city you're in, right? So there are so many positions that are handpicked and there aren't even elected positions, which we need to change. Because that's how monopolies get. Yeah,
that's right. Tenure. Tenure. Oh, it's a lot of, and learn contract law. I'm gonna tell you right now, the best lawyers I ever met was jailhouse lawyers. Yes, God. Okay.
But they don't even know about zoning. You can't even talk to them about contracts because they don't even know about zoning privileges and how that shit works. Zoning is a whole thing. Zoning is a whole other situation. When it comes to housing laws and policies and all that, that's a lot that most people want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? The whole reason aldermen are important is because they are the ones that yay or nay the new construction.
That's right.
They approve or disapprove the zoning laws. The zoning laws is what keeps your communities the way they are. So if your alderman is not fighting for your zoning laws to make sure that you have businesses and residential and affordable housing, and let's be very clear about affordable housing, because affordable housing means simply that you are paying what you're supposed to pay.
That's right.
You're supposed to pay 30% of your income to your rent only. Most people are paying 60 to 70% of their income on rent. That's how it's supposed to be. 30% only is what you're supposed to be spending. And that's what affordable housing is you not having to spend your entire damn check on rent. That's
exactly.
The way that it's been perceived is that, that's just people that don't that are low income, that don't care, blah 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 blah. all that. You know what I'm saying? So
I totally understand. I overstand. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with welfare. It's your tax dollars paid for. I stood in unemployment line. Sure did. Drove my BMW. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Sure did. Right up there. Stood right in line. 6 in the morning. It was only $900. A fraction of what I got, but it was mine.
And that's the thing too. Now, what I do not agree with is people that are, that have their whole generations on welfare.
Right.
That's a problem. That's a huge problem. Your grandma, mama, and your daughter should not be all
exactly. Your
That's
great
where I
great.
have an issue, right? Like, what? You've been here how long? Are you kidding me? That's where I have a problem. We briefly touched on the man of the house rule. Let me find an article on that as well. The man of the house rule was a totally bad situation because of the way that it kicked black men out of the home. But that was the same time they were trying to get them connected to crack. Man, y'all better
Then wake up. Wake up. You know what gets me is everybody talking about I'm woke. I'm woke. No, you so woke you sleep. You know? And I'm not talking about everybody.
Yeah, I know. This whole woke situation. I'm like,
I was on Twitter and I would battle Tariq Nasheed and people like that. Okay? They stay so woke, but you sleep, but you down in your black brothers and sisters. And may I bring up a Tommy Sotomayor real quick?
Sure.
Okay, we may not like that man. All right, he's a shock jock. He's a shock jock.
Yep.
But do we give him reason and content? Do we? Let's be honest, y'all.
Oh, we give him content. I'm not saying that, but I just don't. I don't like the issue that I have with Tommy Sotomayor is that he sits there and he literally goes after black women and disrespectful.
Right.
And if he gets mad, if he rejects it, he'll literally sit there and demean you over and over again. That's where I have a problem with him.
Exactly, because I offered him to a debate. I remember when Jay Wilson that situation because I know his debating style.
Right.
Okay. I know his debating style, and what in his debating style is basically where the name just slipped my mind, is where you divert the issue. It's kind of like you switch. You know darn well you got on a pink shirt, right?
Right.
Okay. But what you want to do is you start flipping around that pink shirt and start putting a negative spin on it. All right.
Right.
Okay. And I will text in the comments for research purposes this style of debate because it's very useful in corporate America. All right. To know how to debate, because debating is just a conversation.
That's all it is. It's not a screaming match. Let's be very clear. So debating is not a screaming match. It is a conversation with two opposing people trying to make their point. It's not a screaming match. Well, it's not supposed to be. Sometimes it turns into a mind.
That's right.
That's where moderators come in. That's why moderators are so important when it comes to debating. That's why I get really, really irritated when I was watching the presidential debate. I'm like, what are you here for? Why are you
right?
Yo,
it's horrible. That last debate was horrible.
Jesus.
And
why are you here? And then the things like, they're just here to keep time. No. Moderate.
No. And you have to listen to what they're asking too. Are they being fair in their questioning? And also, I'm going to tell y'all something. Oh, I got to go so bad, but I love this. This is my cup of tea. Danaya is my cup of tea. Good God Almighty. I'm feeling good this morning. Let me say this. Whew. After that debate, I'm going to tell you what happened. I was watching World News, and they did not go. The reporters and the statisticians didn't care about our voices. Guess where they went? To Telemundo. Okay? They wanted to know what they thought and took the polls there. All right? And when you're watching these polls, you have to look at how they're writing the questions.
Yep.
And understanding. Literacy is so... We have to be literate. We have to help those that cannot read. And Young man, 16 years old with sickle cell, was illiterate.
Wow.
Illiterate, couldn't read. I took my time to help him. You know, his
Mm-hmm.
family, they were in the streets.
Right.
16 years old with sickle cell, could not read. The schools didn't care
Mm-hmm.
at all. I was in remedial math. But
Wow.
you know what? One of my largest clients was a World Bank.
That period.
Because you don't know something, honey, you go find it out. And trust
Mm-hmm.
me, you are judged at the
Yep.
workforce as a person of color. We have to work 10 times harder.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I would get up every morning and I'd beat the devil running, do my prayers, get to the office before everybody. Because when you're in an executive position, they trying to bring you down.
Yes.
You best believe that. And I'm going to tell you what counts as far as your job, bringing in money.
Yep.
Okay. Know your resume. A lot of people, you have done so much that you don't even have on your resume. I guarantee you that much.
Very true.
Because I've had a recruiting firm for minorities.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm speaking from experience. So to tie back everything that we discussed, Danaya, the state of the black male, we have to hold our kings up. I don't care if we can't judge them. They selling drugs. We don't know why. Have y'all ever heard Rico's story? Go listen to it. Go listen to it, whether you like them or not. Listen to people's trials and tribulations. You might find something in common.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear someone in pain on here, it's not funny.
Not at all.
It's not funny because it could be you or
Mm-hmm.
one of yours. And like the night said, networking. Pull together. Even if you don't get a nickel out of it, your blessings are gonna come somewhere else.
Absolutely. Networking is the key to success. Let's be very clear.
Say that again.
Networking is the key to success.
That's right.
Especially when it comes to right now, when it comes to online and all that, like it's about building relationships.
That's right. Just about 3 months ago, I drove past Black Wall Street. Okay.
Oh,
My
wow.
husband and I. It was a sight to see. I was in, I think it was St. Lucia. And went horseback riding, and we stopped at a French slave plantation and went inside an actual slave quarters. You will be surprised. Oh my God, the spirits that you could pick up because they didn't change anything. History. Okay, we know our history. We know our future.
Mm-hmm.
Research. Have you all ever seen a slave ship in the museum? I sure have. I mean, you think about that question, Danaya. We may have seen pieces of it. And I got this from my son. He came home from college. When you're in college, you start getting real enlightened, right?
Yeah.
Said, Ma, you've never seen it. And don't tell me that they cannot put a full slave ship, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that begets the question. How were slaves really brought over here? So, and I'm bringing up history, like I said, because it's tying into everything that Danaya is bringing up here. Why are our children getting shot down in the street? Mothers are crying and blood is running in the street. Why was George Floyd killed, murdered? What happened to Freddie Gray? Sandra Bland? I can go on and on.
Sandra Bland is probably the hardest one for me because she's from Illinois. I honestly believe that she was a victim because of the fact that the cop was embarrassed because when she stood up and towered over him, he was mad. And then she was already slick at the mouth, which she had every right to be because he forced her to even make the illegal move. I saw the video. Like I don't watch most of the videos. I saw that one. And I was like, wait, wait a second. Because he stopped. Now, mind you, he stopped a Caucasian woman right before that, like a couple miles back, right? So then he, for whatever reason, he decided to follow her to the point that she had no choice but to move in the way that she did to get away from him.
Right.
We're talking about that part though. And so by the time she got there, she was irritated. She was like, "What the hell? I smoke. I don't want to deal with you." Woo, woo. And then he comes up to her, and then she stands up and she towered over him. Oh, he was livid.
Livid. He was livid because you know what? A black woman wasn't supposed to do that. We can't speak out. We can't speak out. And also, why was she? She was going back to school, and she was also in the community activist.
She's there. She's that part. She's there because she's starting a new job to begin with. That's what
Yep, a new job. Yep.
Taxes because she was starting a new company, starting with a new company. That's why she moved. Because she's originally from Illinois.
Exactly. And went to school down there. Correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure my facts were straight.
Your facts is right.
And they said she committed suicide.
The lies they tell. The lies they tell.
That's a lie. And then I'm gonna say something. In solitary confinement, there's no trash cans like that. In solitary confinement.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's the small details that matter. And then I was saying, the large details are in the devil. Okay.
Devils are in the details for sure.
Yep. Some small little facts about that trash can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there in jails, suicide, there's nothing in those jails where you're supposed to be able to even kill yourself to do that. All right.
Yep. And as a matter of fact, they take so let's be like, I don't know. I know this because I've watched certain things and whatever, but like, and I've had friends that have actually experienced this. So like when you're going to jail, they take everything that you could possibly kill yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
they sure do. Your shoestrings, all of that.
And if you're on suicide watch, they are there watching you to make sure that you're good. You're actually put in a special cell so that they watch you, and they have cameras on you. So what you're trying to attempt to tell us is that all your cameras were broken.
Right.
When she decided to kill herself.
And where's your documentation? Because you got to document that too. You have to document. And it's hour on hour watch in most jails and prisons. I don't care how big or small. And hey, guess what? The sheriff, you know how the sheriff system came about and law enforcement? Those are the slave catchers.
Oh, right. Yep. That's what police were. They were originally slave catchers. Don't forget that part, you guys.
And if you get stopped by the police, how many people in the chat know about search and seizure? I got time for this. I don't care if I'm late.
Oh, the Fourth Amendment?
Mm-hmm.
Child.
They threaten us with dogs, don't they?
Uh-huh.
Do you know you have a right to tell them not to have that dog come near you?
And
that you're afraid? Do you know that you can only search the one-tier clothing? And you know we wear a hoodie, t-shirt, and everything, don't we?
Really?
Yes. They cannot go all through and search like that. Only one tier. And that dog comes through, and they're supposed to wear them body cams.
Yes.
And that dog is coming, and you tell them to get that dog away from you, don't bring that dog in your house, and they still do it. You're afraid? Oh, yeah, you're going to still get arrested and have to go to court, but it will get thrown out. If not, you got one hell of a lawsuit. Your constitutional rights matter. You matter.
Yep.
Educate ourselves, please. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yes. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe for sure, for sure.
Okay? Because these are things that, if you don't mind, you know that I'm going to be touching on as well. With Lady Detroit. And I would love to have you come over to my channel. Please.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Please. And that is called networking. Let's use this application. And let me say this. There's no damn sectors. I'm so sick of hearing that. It's one application. It's a tool.
Yes.
It is a tool. All right? I don't belong. I'm not in the B sector. I'm on YouTube.
Period.
Now, whether I choose to cuss you out because needed, that's one thing.
Right, but no. I'm on YouTube.
I'm on YouTube. I'm not in the B sector. The B sector does not exist in me. You will not define where I am.
Period.
Okay? And maybe we start changing that collectively. And to end this, one of the ventures I have is the networking, 8 streams of revenue, so we can retire wealthy, and our children can go to college, and our children's children. And there's a book, Rules by Secrecy. If someone can put that in the chat, Rules by Secrecy. Get that book. It's so deep. You can only read maybe a paragraph at a time. It talks about the families that are running this world.
Ooh, child.
And it'll show you it's thick. It's that deep, Danaya. And I just want you to try it. I challenge you. I challenge all of y'all. I'm still not finished. Rules by Secrecy. Mm-hmm. And the Black Spiritual Movement. Read that.
Ooh,
Those
child.
2 books. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, you may not even be able to get past 4 or 5 sentences. Your brain is going to start analyzing because it's gonna hit home, and you'll understand where we are today. What's going on with this pandemic? This pandemic is not new.
Nope.
Huh. Not new. And look, who's being more affected by it. Data matters.
Yeah.
Then let me get on out here and stomp these roads. Okay. I had to turn back around. I could not. This is my cup of tea right here. And uplift people, man. Please.
Yes. Thank you for coming on.
Likewise. Thank you for having me, y'all.
No problem. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Let's get back to this show. If you haven't already done so, please come to this video. If you have not already done so, please come to this video. So hold on, you guys. Let's go.
It's as we say, like, this is what the evidence is showing, and the people that are getting charged, the majority of them aren't even from that city, because like they have the video obviously, so they're going down the list and charging people and finding out that they're not even from the cities that they infiltrated. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't sit there and be like, oh, it's the black folks acting up, and no, it wasn't just the black folks. It was they weren't even the insiders of the situation. So
and there's so many layers to this. Right, and so many layers to this, and people don't really understand. Like the audio clip I let you guys hear was shot from someone, and God bless all these people with their cameras out. And sometimes we all hate that people are so focused on their phones and things like that. Like I feel like it's a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways to be able to have it, but also when you come with a situation like this, it is God's gift in a lot of ways that we can be able to see what's real. And it hurts my heart to see that when you listen to it and you listen to these strangers pleading for that man's life, it hurts your heart in so many different ways, and I don't understand. And the cop that had his knee on his neck is a dirtbag for sure. But the cop that they were talking to, if you heard that audio, he was basically a shield while that man was still holding his neck, and that cop was like, every time that someone said something to that cop, and he was like, well, you're being disrespectful. At the same time, his fellow officer was putting a knee to the neck and killed that man live while it was being dealt with right then and there, and not one police officer gave a damn. And that's the one thing that hurts.
But here's the other thing too. There were 2 other cops on top of him. That's most people don't know.
Right.
That's why they're all going down.
Yep. Let me go ahead and put Baby Girl on. This is Nexxlegacy Radio. We are exposing racism in America. If you do want to call in, you can do it 845-277-9369. You can press the number 1 button if you have your opinions, your thoughts. I know there's people on the line right now, so if you want to be heard, press 1, please. But I got Baby Girl up first and next. Hey, sweetheart. I know it's not the easiest time to just say hello and all that good stuff, but I definitely want your thoughts and your feelings about just everything, not just from the last 10 days, but just in life in general when it comes to racism.
Okay, so as an Asian
African American. Let's start there. As a daughter of a Black man and a Black woman. As a mother of a Black son and a Black daughter. As a lover of a Black man who has Black sons. As a sister of 5 Black brothers who have Black sons. It was a scary time for me. For me. So I'm in Florida and I still have a curfew. There was a riot down in one of the Blackest communities of where I live. And so the way that I feared for my friends and my family that went down there to peacefully protest that turned violent, where they threw tear gas and they had army tanks. I live by the Air Force Base. I knew it was serious when the Air Force Base had tanks. 5 tanks rolling down the street. And there is an alarm that is encouraging the people to not come outside. Wow. To the point where my daughter, who is 9, got scared of the loud noises that she heard. Like, this is a real deal for us down here. So not only can't we go outside because of COVID-19, not only was school and jobs and life as we know it was snatched like a thief in the night because of an invisible virus that nobody had an inkling of or no one took it seriously.
Awesome. Thank you. Nexxlegacy by Jim Mars. You're so very welcome.
In 2019, hence why it's called COVID-19, because he was made aware of it in 2019. But he didn't bust up or do anything until March, until people were dying by the hundreds. And while people were dying by the hundreds, this mother heifer was down here in Florida golfing like every little thing is going to be all right. And people are dying on his hands. So not only are we in the house because of COVID-19, but then murder on top of murder on top of murder on top of murder, police brutality, racism. And listen, I'm half Chinese, I'm half Asian, so you can just imagine me busting up in Walmart and people yelling at me, "Go back to where you come from." Last time I checked, when my mother pushed me out her vagina, it was in Florida. So there's nowhere for me to go back to. There's nowhere for me to go back to. So, and if I know Danaya, you didn't see the video, but if you looked at the video, the Asian guy said, "This is what happens when you do drugs." No, I heard mother heifer, this is what happens when you have someone's knee on your neck for 8 whole minutes. This man say, "I'm claustrophobic. My stomach hurts. My chest hurts. I can't breathe." And then as a last resort, he yelled out for his mama who died 2 years ago. So
right then, after hearing that, when I heard that, especially about his mom passed away 2 years ago, like you said, that's when I felt like he knew he was going to go see her. And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to paraphrase. I'm not trying to, speak for him. And I'm just as a Black man, I know when you have certain things going on in your life, and I know from experience that when you lose someone, either they're coming home and they feel like they are, or they want to go see their mom or their grandma or whoever's in heaven at that particular time. If you don't believe me, then I can care less. But it's true and it happens, and people who understands know what I'm talking about. But baby girl, to your point, it's just watch. Like,
that's the most hard. That's the memory that his child, who's 6, has to see for the rest of her life. I can't even imagine.
Keep sharing the damn thing.
Me getting pulled over. Me first being detained. Get putting in the police car. Then get put back out the police car. Getting beat up. Because quiet as it kept. The other cameras that were on the building, that were on the body cameras, they were telling a different story. So the fact that they arrested him, he complied. He got him out the car, put him on the side of the building, put him in the car, beat him up while he was in the car, took him back out, which then has a video that's been circulating. Can you imagine at the age of 6 that is how people remember your superhero? That's how people remember your best friend. That's how people remember the king of your life, the perfect example of what your husband wants to be. And that is what people are going to remember. Oh, and here's the thing. To the people who are just like, oh, you guys are protesting. This man has a criminal history. First of all, we never said that Saint Sophronius was a saint. I'll say it again for the Saint Sophronius in the back. We never said that he was a saint. Nobody in his family busted up on the TV interviews and said, oh, he was a perfect little angel. He did nothing wrong. No, his basketball friend, and shout out to him because I love him. I loved him when he was on the court. I love him even more even now. He even busted up on interviews was like, he did some time. He wasn't perfect. He was getting his life together in Minnesota because his life wasn't happening for him in Texas. That's what they're saying. That's what's consistent, that he was getting his life together. So for those of you who are pointing out his past at this point is irrelevant. Don't twist the narrative to say that, oh, the knee on his neck he deserved because he didn't. And quiet as it's kept, they're saying now, allegedly, we put that word in there, allegedly that it wasn't even him that had the forgery. So now we have to live with the stigma of all black people look alike. So we have to deal with all black people look alike, all black people act the same, all black people are ghetto. And so we have to fight every day to prove our worth, to prove ourselves, to prove that we are the best we can be. And for us females, we already got strikes against us because we got breasts and vaginas. They already feel by the way that about women in leadership, hence why Hillary Clinton's not in office, but I digress. So not only that we are women, but we're African American women who have pushed out babies on top of babies on top of babies. We already have a stigmatism or a stereotype that, we grew up in single parent homes, or we grew up like we already have to be on. And a lot of us don't live to see 18. The miracle for us in the black community is that we made it past 18. We made it to be graduates of high school. We made it to be the first in our families to pursue a dream, a legit dream, not the sports area, but a legit dream. And a lot of us don't get to see that because we're either murdered by police brutality, we're killing ourselves. And please don't bust up here and talk about black people are killing black people. Well, white people are poisoning and killing white people too. Hello, Wall. But
amen to that. Let me tell you something. Let me read a couple of things to you before anybody that wants to jump in. I see there's a lot of people on the line. If you do wanna listen, you can press the number 1 button. We'll put you on. The people that are listening via their online resources, you can call in 845-277-9369. Press 1. I'm gonna read something to you because I had an opinion on a Twitter site, and I left my opinion as far as how I felt about just the death of George Floyd, in that those under the jail. And the comments that I got, and as I read this, I want you to really take in context what I just said. And I said verbatim, he murdered that man. He and the rest of his officers should be put under the jail. And these are some of the comments that I want to read to you. And you tell me where we are today is exactly these comments. And one says, "You're bullshit, dude. You're making assumptions like this is the whole reason the whole country is dividing right now." That's one comment. That's the next one. "Seriously, he instigated this whole situation." The dude asked him, and he was like, "What the fuck? How do you answer someone? So take your bullshit elsewhere. There is no racism. Just unfollow the page and fuck off." Seriously. That's one person. The next one says, "That's what letting people have gun does. So get over it." And here's another one. "It doesn't make me sad. It makes me happy that we can take out as many of you as possible." Here's another one. "Imagine, because he didn't speak English to them. That's probably why he asked some African Swahili type of English. That's why he pulled a gun. Or in some cases, they will put a knee to the necks of people because they don't understand people like you." Okay, here's another one. "I will always support people killing people who deserve to be put in jail, and that black man does, even though he didn't do anything." So I just read you a few. And I did not delete my comment, and I did not take it down, and I just kept it up, and I'm just looking at all the hate and all the people. And I take that back. My one response was, this is the reason why we are where we are right now in this United States. And I left it at that. And then people got on me about that. Nigger this, nigger that, nigger this, nigger that. There's probably about 30 or 40 comments. Yeah, if I made a comment about it, I'll screenshot and send it to you. I don't want to promote what page it's on and all these comments because that'll just add more fuel to it. But this is all off of the comments that I made off of another site that was reporting the death of George Floyd. So I get that on Twitter a lot too. If you follow me on Twitter, you can be able to see my replies to some of these people because I definitely do not like the current president dictator of the United States. So I have my opinions about him as well. And I'm not one of those people to say something and not retaliate to the point where, well, fuck you if you call me this, that, and the other. It's not even about that right now, especially when it comes to something like this. The reason why I put that out is the reason why I feel like there will never be, ever be a United States of America. It will never be this way. And I hate people saying that, oh, yes, we can change, we can reform, we can do this, we can do that. No, we can't. No, we can't. The only way that we'll do it, if we'll ever see it in our generation, is if we all die, we give it to others that are like-minded like we are, and they're able to take this on. But I know in my lifetime, in my generation, maybe I have another 50 years left, God willing, maybe not. But I'm telling you this, and I'm telling you now, we're never going to see equality ever. But what can we do as a society right now to be able to change the narrative so either our kids or our kids' kids can be able to at least have a fighting chance? And I think that's what it is when it's all said and done right now. Because, Danaya, if you said something earlier about, well, you know what, I don't want to look at this. I don't want to lose some of my white friends. And I feel you because I lost some of my white friends because I did. I really did. I lost some. And I lost some for this reason. And actually, I lost some black friends too. And let me tell you why. When people don't listen and they're so bent up and full of rage when it comes to why we are the way we are, people will have their opinion and they're so steadfast on delivering their opinion, they fail to listen to what people have to say. Now, when I tell you that I don't like our current dictator of the United States, I'm going to tell you my reasons why. When I say what I need to say, and if someone is pro him, then that's fine. That's you. You do what you do. But when someone says that either I'm gullible or that I make no sense, or if they're saying that they don't believe what I gotta say, even though the video is pure video, then I have a problem with you. And not only that, I no longer respect you. And not only that, I no longer want to fuck with you ever. And that's because you don't listen. I'm able to listen to people's differences of opinion. Now, we can be caught up in the moment. That's one thing. But I feel like we all have disagreements and we all have had situations in our lives with people where, we don't understand each other, but at the same time, when it comes to something like this, if I feel like the sky is blue, but baby girl, you're saying that, nah, it's brown or whatever. And I'm like, well, from what I can see, it looks blue, but you're saying that it looks brown and you're telling me the reason why. Why would I call you a name outside of who you are because of your opinion on how the sky looks? No. You have your opinion, I have mine. We move on from that. But I can't convince you or I can't tell you that it's blue because you have your own points of views. I can tell you mine, you can tell me yours, we can come meet in the middle, we're done. We're done. And there should be no hate involved in that whatsoever. When it comes to Black Lives Matter, when people throw that out there, that all lives matter, sure they do. I think we all agree in that because, we're all one nation. We love all races, shades, colors, etc., right? But what I don't understand is when people say that you can't say Black Lives Matter because all lives matter. No, fuck you. It does. Black lives does matter because if you really rewind time and go back in history, Black lives didn't matter to nobody at one point in time. It didn't matter 400 years ago. It didn't matter 200 years ago. It didn't matter 100 years ago. It didn't matter 50 years ago. And it didn't matter now. So if that's the case, how come the people that are saying all lives matter but don't understand why we say Black Lives Matter? Because I guarantee you this, you, me, I see Kev on the line and him and his family and everybody that we know, Black and white men and women, have to fight times 20 in order to get what we got now. And it's still not enough according to us because we still feel like we're missing something. We have built this country. We have built this society. We have so many Black inventors. We have so many Black people who are doing marvelous things. We have so many people put in power.
Oh, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pause. I'm actually gonna stop this because we are like 2 hours and 30 minutes in. Shout out to all my guests that came to. Shout out to BMT for coming through. Shout out to the Diamond Ring Dory. I might come back later on tonight, either tonight or tomorrow, so you guys can hear the rest of it. Because it's a long broadcast, but they speak a lot of truth in there. So if you want to come on the next time I come on, if you guys want to come back and have a conversation, I'm totally down for that. Shout out to Official D-Soft for coming on as well. But yeah, shout out to everyone that came through, shared, liked, commented, all that fun stuff. Make sure you guys follow me on all social media at Danaya Azure. All the links are below in the description. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. And yeah, I'll let y'all later. Thank you.